Good day to all of you students. In the previous video, we talked about average velocity and average speed. In this video, we will talk about instantaneous velocity and instantaneous speed. Children, the word instantaneous velocity itself suggests velocity at a given instant, velocity at a given point of time. Average velocity, which we saw in the previous video, that was defined for a time interval of 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 10 seconds, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever. Average velocity was taken over a time interval when a particle or a body moved from one point to another point in some time interval. We took average velocity, total displacement upon total time interval. But when I talk of instantaneous velocity, it is velocity at a given point of time, at a given instant of time. So when I am speaking of instantaneous velocity, I will say velocity at t equal to 5 seconds, velocity at t equal to 4 seconds, velocity at t equal to 10 seconds. I won't say instantaneous velocity from t equal to 4 to t equal to 5. That will be wrong. Instantaneous velocity is not for a time interval. It is for an instant of time. At a point of time, what was the velocity of the body or a particle? Whereas average velocity is counted for a time interval. I cannot say average velocity at t equal to 4 seconds was so much. That will be wrong language. Average velocity is not defined at an instant of time. Average velocity is defined over a time interval. And instantaneous velocity is defined at an instant of time or at a point of time. So when I am speaking of velocity at a given point of time, how to find out the instantaneous velocity of an object? Let us see. Supposing position of an object as regards to time is given by xt is equal to 8t cube upon 100. Supposing this is the formula connecting the position x of the body and the time t of the body, 8t cube upon 100. Supposing this, randomly I have taken up this formula. I want to check what is the velocity of the body at t equal to 4 seconds. What will be the velocity of the body at t equal to 4 seconds? What is the velocity I want to know at this time? Now again see, I am not taking a time interval, but I am giving you a point of time at t equal to 4 seconds. What is the velocity? I want to know that. So I may think that what was the velocity at 3.8 second, 3.9 second, 4 second, 4.1, 4.2. If I have an idea of velocity at different points of times around 4 seconds, somewhat more less than 4 and somewhat more than 4, then I may think what can be the velocity at t equal to 4 seconds. So I will look for the time interval around 4 seconds, a time less than 4 seconds, a bit less than 4 seconds and a bit more than 4 seconds. Around t equal to 4 seconds, what was the velocity of body? Let us try to think, rather average velocity. So what I do is, around t equal to 4 seconds, I take a time interval of, supposing 2 seconds. So t1 time will be for me, break it into half, 1 second. So 4 minus 1 and 4 plus 1. So this will be 3 seconds. And d2 will be 5 seconds. Means what I will do is, I wanted velocity at 4 seconds. I took a small time interval of 2 seconds. So I subtract 1 and add 1 to it. So 3 seconds and 5 seconds. So I will calculate in this much time interval of 2 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, what was the average velocity. Let us check. So see, how did I get t1, t2? I wanted instantaneous velocity at 4 seconds. I took a small time interval of 2 seconds. So half it out, 1 and 1. So subtract 1 and add 1, so 3 seconds and 5 seconds. 4 lies exactly between these two. So I will see what is the average velocity for this much time interval. For that I should know what is the position at time t1 and t2. x1 and x2. They are the positions for time t1 equal to 3 seconds and 5 seconds. Let us make use of calculator at 3 seconds. So this will be 27 into 8 divided by 100. That is 2.16. And T3, 27 into 8. So this is 27 into 8 divided by 100. So 2.16. And what is x2? Let me write a bit far. I may need it. So x1 and x2. So this is 2.16. x2 is 4 seconds. Oh, sorry, 5 seconds. Second time. So 5 cube. So 125 into 8 divided by 100. 10 seconds. What will be delta x? 10 minus 2.16. So 10 minus 2.16. 7.84. This is the displacement from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. And delta t is 2 seconds. So what is the average velocity? 7.84 divided by 2, that is 3.92. Okay, let me decrease the time interval, say 1 second. Half of 1 will be half, so 4 minus 0.5, 3.5 second. 4 plus half, 4.5 second. So find out x1, x2 corresponding to this. 3.5 cube, 3.5 into 3.5 into 3.5 into 8. So 343. So this becomes 3.43 upon 100. So again let me check out 3.5 into 3.5 into 3.5 into 8. 3.43. Then 4.5. 4.5 into 4.5 into 4.5 into 8. 729. So that is 7.29. Subtract minus 3.43. That is 7.29 minus 3.43. 7.29 minus 3.43. 3.86. And time interval is 1 second divided by 1. So 3.86. So see, if we decrease the time interval from 2 seconds to 1 second, average velocity is changing. That means neither 3.92 nor 3.86 are the velocity at 4 seconds. Let us decrease time interval, say 0.5 second. So half of this will be 0.25. So 3.75 second and 4.25 second. Understanding? Whatever is half 0.25, I subtract and add. It was 2 seconds. Half of this will be 1. I subtract and add. Half of 1 will be 0.5. So subtract 0.5 plus 0.5 like this here. So 3.75. 3.75. Okay. 3.75 into 3.75 into 3.75 into 8. Upon 100. 4.218. 4.21875. And for 4.25, 4.25 into 4.25 into 4.25 into 8. So this is 6.14125. What is delta x? Subtract. So 6.14125 minus 4.21875. That is coming out to be, some mistake has happened. 6.14125 minus 4.21875. 1.9225 and divide by 0.5. That is coming out to be 1.9225 divided by 0.5. 3.845. So again see it is shifting. But now the shift is very small because it was 3.96 and 3.86. Here difference was 0.06 and now it is less than this. Let me take delta t still smaller, maybe 0.2. So this will become 3.9 second and this will become 4.1 second. So for 3.9 into 3.9 into 3.9 into 8. So 2.96595. 4.1 into 4.1 into 4.1 into 8. 5.51 368 minus 2.96595. So delta x for me is 2.54773 and I divide by 0.2. Wait, some mistake or what? 2.54. This one I have to subtract 5.51368 minus 2.96595. 2.54773. Let me check again. 3.9 cube. 3.9 into 3.9 into 3.9 into 8. 4. Oh, there is a mistake here. Let me check again. For 3.9 into 3.9 into 3.9 into 8. This is 4.74552, and let me check for this. 4.1 into 4.1 into 4.1 into 8. This is correct. So 5.51368 minus 4.74552. This is coming out to be 0.76816 divided by 0.2, children. 3.8408. So now see 3.84 and 3.84 almost same. Only in the last two places there is some, but there is accuracy up to 2 decimals that we can make out. And still, if you take 0.1, so this will become 4 minus 0.05. 4 minus 0.05, half of 0.1. This will be 3.95, and this will be 4.05. 3.95 into 3.95 into 3.95 into 8. This is coming out to be 4.93039. 4.05 into 4.05 into 4.05 into 8. 5.31441. Now 5.31441 minus 4.93039, and this is coming out to be 0.38402, and we divide by 0.1, so it comes out to be 3.8402. Now see, children, how much accuracy is improving. 3.92, earlier there was not even accuracy of 1 decimal. 3.9, 3.8, it changed. Then at least 3.8 remained, but second decimal changed. Now second decimal is constant, but third decimal is changing. Now even third decimal is becoming constant. 3.840, 3.840. So earlier, as soon as delta t changed from 2 to 1, this accuracy of first decimal gone. I reduced delta t, then accuracy of first decimal was got, but accuracy of second decimal was gone. I still reduced delta t, 3.84, 3.84. Accuracy of second decimal is achieved, but accuracy of third decimal is gone, 5 and 0. Still I reduce, it becomes constant, 3.840, 3.840. At least I get accuracy of 3 decimals, but accuracy of 4 decimal is gone. So like that, you understand, if I keep on decreasing delta t, my velocity will be almost equal to how much? 3.84, and all the numbers will be then accurate. All accuracy of decimals will be obtained if I take delta t very, very small. So in fact, if I want to know what is the velocity at t equal to 4 seconds, I should keep on reducing delta t, and I can make out my speed will be approximately 3.8400, something like this. So instantaneous velocity, V will be the symbol for instantaneous velocity, this will be the symbol for average velocity. Average velocity, this is my instantaneous velocity, only when delta t is very, very small. These all are values of what? Average velocity. And I can make out my average velocity as I reduce delta t equal to 0, it is going towards the value 3.840, something like this. And this I call as what? Instantaneous velocity, because now the time interval around 4 seconds. See, it is almost touching 4 seconds. 3.95 also and 4.05 also. That means at 3.95, 4.05 and 4 seconds, the velocity was almost 3.840. So instantaneous velocity at 4 seconds was approximately 3.84. and this we got with the help of average velocity. So this we know is now the instantaneous velocity because time interval is hovering almost around 4 seconds only. 3.95 second or 4.05 second, it is almost 4 seconds. So this velocity is actually instantaneous velocity at 4 seconds. Almost. But this is actually average velocity. So we conclude average velocity becomes instantaneous velocity when delta t is extremely small. When delta t becomes extremely small, from 2 to 1, 1 to 0.5, 0.5, 0.2, 0.2 to 0.1, like this you have to think. So this is actually your average velocity, and we are counting it to be the instantaneous velocity at 4 seconds because the times are 3.95 and 4.05. Matlab from 3.95 to 4.05 seconds means almost around 4 seconds. Your velocity was 3.8402. So this is actually almost your velocity at 4 seconds. But this is actually your average velocity. The average velocity will become instantaneous velocity when delta t will be almost 0. How do we write it in maths? Instantaneous velocity will be limit delta t approaching 0 for average velocity. The average velocity will be instantaneous velocity when delta t approaches 0. Limit delta t means delta t is trying to become smaller and smaller. So instantaneous velocity will be average velocity when limit delta t approaches 0. And you know children, this is limit delta t approaching 0. This is delta x upon delta t. And in the bridge course you have been told that delta x upon delta t when delta t approaches 0, when the value of change is very small, when the value of change, the change of time interval, length of time interval is very small, and that time we don't write delta x upon delta t or delta y upon delta x, we call it dx upon dt. So delta becomes d when the limit delta t approaches 0, please understand. And dx upon dt is what? It is derivative of x with respect to time. You know that dx by dt, that means instantaneous velocity will be obtained by this formula, dx upon dt. Let us check children. Velocity will be d by dt of x. What is x given to me? 8t cube upon 100. So 8 upon 100 is constant. d by dt of t cube, that is how much? 3t square. So that is 24t square upon 100. At what time do you want velocity? At 4 seconds. So velocity at 4 seconds. We are looking for instantaneous velocity at 4 seconds. That will be 24 into 16 upon 100. That will be how much? See, 24 into 16 divided by 100. 3.84. And what was the answer you are getting over here? 3.84 only. So children, you realize that if I want to find instantaneous velocity, I need not make this table again and again. It is very tedious and very Herculean task. The method of derivative is very easy. And once I obtain the formula for velocity, now if I want velocity at any time, I will just keep the value of time over there. Just like I put t equal to 4 over here. So I got velocity at 4 seconds. If I want velocity at 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1.5, 2.5, whatever, just put the value of t, you will get velocity at that instant. What have we convinced you with this table? We have convinced you that these all are average velocities for a certain time interval. For a certain time interval of 2 seconds, 1 second, 0.5, 0.2, 0.1. And we told you average velocity will be instant. This is instantaneous velocity because this is the velocity from time 3.95 to 4.05. These two time intervals are almost around 4 seconds. So we can say velocity at 4 seconds for almost 3.84. That means that was instantaneous velocity because that is velocity at a given instant. So average velocity will be instantaneous velocity. This is instantaneous velocity now. But actually average because we went out delta x upon delta t, delta x upon delta t. So that is actually, these are average velocities. The average velocity becomes instantaneous velocity when limit delta t approaches 0, delta t has become very small, 0.1, we can still further reduce it. So V will be limit delta t approaching 0 V bar, limit delta x upon delta t like this. So if you want to find instantaneous velocity, you have to get by dx upon dt. You will get a formula connecting velocity in time, just like by connecting position and time. At any point of time you could get position. Similarly, we got formula for velocity by using dx upon dt. And why instantaneous velocity is given by dx upon dt, I proved with the help of this table. You can make out that delta x upon delta t, which is the average velocity, when delta t will approach 0, when delta t will become very small, at a time this will become instantaneous velocity, this will become v. So you learned how to get numerical value of average velocity, instantaneous velocity from average velocity, by making time interval very, very small. That is the point. Please pause and copy, children. Dear children, let us talk of direction of instantaneous velocity. We know that numerical value of instantaneous velocity can be obtained by taking dx upon dt. So now let us talk of direction of instantaneous velocity of a particle. Children, you have to realize that when body moves on a curved track, if a body moves on a curved track like this, then the direction of tangent at the point, gives me direction of displacement and direction of velocity at that time, at that instant. So supposing body is moving on this curved path, when the body will be here, I know direction of tangent will go like this. Tangent is a line which will cut the curve only at one point. So when the body goes over here, the direction of displacement and velocity will be in along this tangent. If the body is moving like this, so it will be like this. If a body is coming like this, tangent will go like this. Direction we can choose according to motion, but please understand, on a curved track, the direction of tangent at a point gives us the direction of displacement, instantaneous velocity at that time. How can we say this? Children, you must have burnt ground chakras during Diwali. Charkhi, what we call ground chakras. So when they are rotating, after you light them, you can see sparks flying all around as they are detached from this goal chakra. Small sparks of fire. You must observe that this ground chakra is performing rotational motion. But what about the spark as they are detached from this ring, from this goal chakra? They go in direction of, like this they go. Yes or no? They go straight, or are they in a rotational motion? No, they go on a straight path. So that means if there is a spark which is detached at this point, it will go in this direction because this is the direction of tangent at this point on this circle. At this point, this is the direction of tangent. So as it moves like this, if a spark is getting detached over here, it will go like this. That we have seen. So you can see that as sparks get detached from this goal chakra, which is performing rotational motion, the sparks don't perform rotational motion, they perform linear motion. That means they are moving in direction of tangent as they get detached. So direction of displacement and direction of velocity is direction of tangent. On a curved track, this is a curved track. You must have observed in rainy season when there is lot of mud or kichad, what you call in Hindi. If your tire gets stuck up in that mud and supposing you start rotating it, you must have observed that mud particles, that wet mud particles, they fly off like this as they leave the tire. Have you seen this? So small wet mud particles, as the tire rotates, the particles are flying off in straight direction, in the direction of tangent. Even though the wheel is moving like this, so the mud particles which are detached from the tire, they don't move in circles, they move in a straight line. as and when they are getting detached from the tire, they move in a straight line. It clearly, these two examples tell us the direction of instantaneous velocity and direction of displacement always are in the direction of tangent at that point. So here the direction of tangent is like this, over here the tangent may be like this, here the tangent may be like this, at this point the tangent may be like this, if I draw properly. So like this children you have to think, here tangent like this. So at different points the direction of tangent is different, and that is the direction of velocity and displacement at that point. When the particle is here, it is moving in this direction. When the particle reaches here, it is moving in this direction, not like this. When it is here, it is moving in this direction at that time only, at that instant. So at a given instant of time, on a curved track, the particle moves on a tangential direction. Displacement and instantaneous velocity, that they are in the direction of tangent at that point. So if you are clear with this, the direction of displacement and velocity are direction of tangents at a given time on a curved track. Now think children, supposing this is position versus time graph and your curve is going like this maybe. So P is a point here at time t1 and there is a point Q here at time t2. If I want average velocity between P and Q, average velocity will be the slope of this, you know already. This will be supposing x1, this will be supposing x2. So P will have coordinates t1 x1, Q will have coordinates t2 x2. Average velocity will be x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1, that you already know. And that average velocity is given by slope of this chord pq, that you can see. Because this is the curved track, supposing this is the curved track on which the body is moving, at P point I am talking. At P point, the tangent is going like this, I can make out. Your path is like this first. See, I will draw it for you nicely. Your path goes like this, supposedly. Okay? At P point, I can sense that the tangent may go like this. So this is x1 for you. So at P point, this is the tangent. So this will be direction of displacement and velocity when the body is at P, when the particle is at P. But from time t1 to t2, it goes from P to Q point, from x1 to x2 position. If I decrease the time interval, supposing up to here only, so corresponding to this, the point will be here, Q dash. And then for t1 to this much time, your chord will be having this much slope. Yes or no? So as my time interval decreases from this much to this much, my slope changes from this to this, that much I can see. I still decrease my time interval, I make it this much from this much. So corresponding to this, the point is this on the curve. So my slope is this much, PQ double dash. I still decrease the time interval. Corresponding to that, my point is this on the curve, Q triple dash, and so slope is PQ triple dash. So PQ slope will give me average velocity for T1 to T2. PQ dash will give me average velocity for T1 to T2 dash. PQ double dash slope will give me average velocity for T1 T2 double dash. PQ triple dash slope will give me for time interval T2 triple dash like this. So now children see, time interval is decreasing from T2 to this much to this much to this much. What is happening? Earlier slope was like this, then it became like this, then it became like this, then it became like this. So what is happening? Slowly the slope is coming down. It is coming down, and we know that if we bring Q dash very close to P, if we make this time interval almost 0, then this chord PQ will come slowly in the direction of tangent. The slope of chord and slope of tangent will become same. Earlier chord is like this and tangent is like this. They are having different slopes. tangent and this chord, they are not making same angle with x-axis. Are they making? No. Their slopes are different. If I decrease time interval, what is happening? The chord which was having this much slope, now the slope is reducing, further reducing, still decreasing. So after decreasing slowly, it will come in direction of finally the direction of tangent itself. Therefore, from graph also I can say that value of average velocity means the slope of the chord will be equal to slope of tangent if delta t becomes very small. If delta t becomes very small, the slope of tangent and the slope of chord will be same. So I will write over here, if delta t approaches 0, slope of chord will be slope of tangent. What is slope of chord? Delta x upon delta t. What is slope of tangent? Dx upon dt. That we already know. I gave you the definition of tangent in the bridge course. Tangent is a line whose slope is given by dy by dx. dy by dx. So dy upon dx. So dx upon dt. Tangent is a line whose slope is given by dx by dt. dy by dx. That is the definition of tangent. And this slope of chord delta x upon delta t. When delta t approaches 0, I will write limit delta t approaches 0. Delta x upon delta t will be dx upon dt. So we can see that if delta t becomes very small, then the slope of average velocity and the slope of tangent will be same. That is the geometrical meaning. That means direction of the average velocity and direction of instantaneous velocity, they also will be same. So we can say that when limit delta t approaches 0, then delta x upon delta t will be dx upon dt, not only in terms of value but also in terms of direction. The direction of average velocity and direction of tangent, they also will be same when delta t approaches 0. We saw when we keep on reducing time interval, then slope of tangent and slope of chord also becomes same. If delta t approaches 0, the slope of chord, see first the slope of chord was like this and tangent was like this. They were not in same direction. So as delta t kept on reducing, the slope of chord became smaller and was shifting. Finally, it will shift in the direction of tangent. So they will be almost in the same direction. So not only the numerical value of average velocity and instantaneous velocity will be equal when delta t approaches 0. The direction of average velocity and direction of instantaneous velocity also will be same when limit delta t approaches 0. So that was information about instantaneous velocity, how to get it by taking dx by dt, and what will be the direction. Direction will be of the tangent at that point. Thank you and God bless you, children.